Hey, I did get it working. All right, guys, it is Bruce Lombardo. We are back in the studio, my hobby room. Like I said earlier, today has been a freedom day of sorts. So let me get the not the sponsorship out of the way, but we are powered. We are powered in the Apartment of Solitude by Black Rifle Coffee. This is the Freedom Roast blend. It's a medium blend. It's 100% Colombian coffee, roasted to perfection, inspired by and blended with what makes this country so amazing, freedom. It actually says that on the back. Now, ingredients of this is 100% Arabica coffee. They're distributed by BRCC out of Salt Lake City. A portion of the profits of this go to Vet, Leo, and gun rights organizations. So every time you buy yourself a bag of Black Rifle coffee, you are helping the nature and the intent of the founders of America continue on to tomorrow. For those of you that want to have your own bag of Black Rifle coffee, no matter which blend it is, if you use my code fanboy12, that's fanboy12, one word, FANBOY12, that's it's a Foxtrot, Alpha, November, Bravo, Oscar, Yankee, 1-2. You get 12% off on each order of Black Rifle coffee, and the first order of Black Rifle coffee you get. And if you subscribe, you'll never pay shipping. With that being said, we are powered proudly by Black Rifle Coffee in the Apartment of Solitude. Let's get on with the show. That's a good cup of coffee. I like that. Freedom blend. Okay. Now, last month, I picked up this little comic book. It's called Starcraft Survivors. Starcraft Survivors is written, or produced by, I should say, distributed and produced by Dark Horse Comics, written by Jody Hauser, cover art and line art by Gabriel Guzman, colors by Michael Attia, letters by Steve Dutro. Now, the first part of 4 is what Survivors is about. And in this book, you get to meet a lowly technician by the name of Caleb. It starts out with them hurling through space, and there's a dark Templar shrouded in shadow behind Caleb as he's working at a computer terminal. And he says to the Dark Avatar, "I'm not sure what you're looking for." "This one had words in its head. Umojan job. Connected to great power. I want it." Now, I can search the ship's network for Dominion files on the Umojan job, the Umojan Protectorate, but I don't know if I can find it. And at that point, the Dark Avatar or the Dark Templar gets a hold of this guy and starts giving him a little bit of pain. With him not delivering upon his end of the bargain, the Dark Templar kills, and he kills at random. And Caleb, being his little sneak inside the ship, is living a double life of having to abide by this thing's wishes and trying to get along with this new group of people he's been assigned to as they evacuate their previous digs. Now, I had very little to complain about in the first comic book, except for the fact that it felt really short, and it is. It's like a 30-page comic for $3.99, but I was willing to forgive that, and I even encourage people to buy it because it's a great comic book. And for those of you that love the franchise StarCraft, which has been out since 1997 on PC, another, I think it was on the N64 poorly, but it's been around for a while. It's a really good computer game. It's got a very good backstory to it. The novels that I've had a chance to read are pretty decent, if not a fucking exemplar. Excellent, just outstanding, 5-star material. But if you love StarCraft, the media that's around it, Blizzard has done everything they can through the course of time to make it a very great franchise. In recent years, Blizzard has released Overwatch, and some things they've put in Overwatch make me think that's not as good of a franchise because there's a little bit more politically correctness in it, and I'm just not a big fan of that. Give me women that want to act like women and men that want to act like men. In a military society, women will try to adapt a more masculine role as they are tasked with more and more responsibility, which is good, instead of shrinking and turning into just a home wife or a shield maiden of sorts. But StarCraft has these this great backstory to it. And I'm just going to say that if you haven't played StarCraft, the original is available for free. All you have to do is go to BattleNet and register. You should enjoy it. Now, with that being said, part 2 of Survivors is in, and written by Jody Hauser, cover and line art by Gabriel Guzman, colors by Michael Atea, and letters by Steve Dutro. Let me tell you that this is one of the really good comics that after the introduction, it has given us a little bit more to bite into. There's a couple new characters that Caleb bumps into, aside from the, I'd like to say, the warm and fuzzy labor or supervisor that he has that seems to want to pull Caleb into his little family of survivors of such. And he's got this individual by the name of Briggs, and she's a security officer. Well, he meets her second. First, he's kind of repairing a panel, and it says, just keep your head down, lay low. And he sees an old co-worker of his. He keeps thinking about it, and then he just sees her get ripped apart, and he shorts out the fucking panel. At that point, one of the locals, one of the men that's on board the ship, who hasn't met Caleb yet, confronts him and is like, "You're one of the new arrivals, aren't you?" "Yes. Yes, sir." "Why are you so nervous? What was your name again?" I was just thinking about Russell." And that was the lady who he saw get killed by the Dark Templar. "I was there when they found the body." "Well, now, isn't that interesting, Caleb?" And then Jace appeared, or to confront Jace and get him to come off Caleb's back. Security Officer Briggs shows up. And when I say I have a crush on military chicks, yeah, when I had an Instagram account, that was my primary source of happiness. And you get to see Security Officer Briggs there. They've done a very good job of not only making her a well-drawn character, much to my happiness, but they've also given a very good set of characterizations to her. And her and Caleb pretty much hit it off really well. Caleb is a very good electronics tech. He does his job as best as he can while straddling that line of having something in the background that's going to kill him if he fails it. But he's on Briggs's good side, and I can say that the end of StarCraft Survivors leaves on yet another small cliffhanger. I imagine at the end of book 3 there will be a huge cliffhanger going into book 4, and that'll wrap up that little story arc. But book 2, do you like StarCraft? Do you like watching good, engrossing media? Do you like to read? When I'm reading through this book here as a comic reader, I see how it's drawn and how it goes from panel to panel. And I can see how they're trying to edit it and make it feel like it's almost a John Landis movie. I'm going to give a specific one, American Werewolf in London. I can see how the various panels connect, and I can hear how somebody screaming suddenly would translate to an electrical panel short-circuiting, bright flash of light. I could see that. I could see how Caleb was stammering. I was military when I was a young kid, and you get hammered by people that they're having a shitty day, and they want to ask you some leading questions and try to get to the bottom of some mystery you're not connected to. I can understand that. I've had that situation a couple times. But I can say that StarCraft Survivors Once again, Dark Horse Comics has delivered to us in the comic stores a quality book to pick up, purchase, read, and occasionally go back to. This is a book that, if they continue with issues 3 and 4 of this miniseries as well as they have so far, I'm going to say that probably in the 10 or 12 years that I've been reading comic books on and off, that this is one that I'm happy I bought. Would you, a normal person, want to buy this book? Okay, so on your DVD shelf, you have the Aliens movie. And there are other movies in the Alien franchise, but you kind of want them to continue that same style of film. And you want them to make a good quality set of movies for the Aliens films, where humans are not the dominant race, but they're in fact more of a prey mindset until they can arm themselves properly. Do you like movies that are set with a military or I don't really have another way to say it, a military background to where people must get along to survive, where they're in a situation where they're not able to rely on home, they're not able to rely on the comforts that we have in our modern society? Then I would say that you should probably buy Survivors Book 1 and 2. I wouldn't say stop there. If this group here continues on their current trend, Book 3 is going to have a couple more revelations that they throw into it. They're going to have a big cliffhanger at the end of those 30 pages, and you're going to be like me going, why the fuck can't a month be over yet? Starcraft Survivors Book 1 and 2, well worth your time. Is it a suspenseful? Is it a very well done tale? Yes, absolutely. I recently did some comic reviews on the Orville, which is a little bit better known by modern purveyors of media. The Orville's a great comic. It's set with people you know. Starcraft Survivors is set in a universe most gamers know. Most PC gamers. Master Race! Most PC gamers know the Starcraft universe. Now, I never played Starcraft 2, The Wings of Liberty, or any of those, but I want to. Time is a big thing. But I've got to say that Starcraft Survivors is very well done. You can read this book at your leisure. You can go through it a couple pages at a time, and it will pull you into it. I've not been able to pick up Book 1 and just stop after 3 pages. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a Dark Horse comic, so they advertise their stuff on it. It is by Dark Horse Comics, as you see. The thing about Dark Horse Comics is that they look like they're getting ready to redo some things or continue in previous franchises. For those of you that were disappointed with the Hellboy comics, this is on the horizon. So, maybe for all of you Hellboy fanatics, you're going to get happy for once. Maybe you'll have the chance to actually have a Hellboy that lives up to previous years in that franchise. Because lately, Hellboy has sucked. And I'm referring directly to the 2019 movie. What a shame that was. All right, guys. For everyone, that means me, at the Department of Solitude, I hope you have yourself a great weekend. Happy Labor Day for those of you that are involved with the excessive amount of hours for somebody else's enjoyment and your profit. And I hope you get a chance to spend some time with your friends and family, because without that, why are you living? God bless. Have a great weekend, guys.